Hey, everybody, and welcome to what I feel is going to be the definitive Marvel MCU tier list. We are going to have a great time tonight because I've got a bunch of my friends on who, over the years, we've talked about the Marvel movies, and we're going to see who's right and who's wrong as we talk through the past 22 movies from the Marvel MCU. But before we get started, let me introduce everybody, and we'll start from the top going down. First is David from Man vs. Meeple. David, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm fairly certain I've seen all 22 of these movies. I mean, I'm maybe more than once, probably 3 times each, if I'm guessing.
And just so you'll know, we are experiencing a little bit of lag. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's probably an issue on my end, so I apologize if when their mouths move, it doesn't match the audio, but it's more important about what they say and not what they look like. Next on the list is Joel from Drive Thru Games. Joel, welcome. Now, Joel's going to be our level-headed person of this panel, I think.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's the plan. I was brought in last minute to keep everybody in line, keep everybody's story straight. I have actually been rewatching most of the movies. I've actually rewatched, I think, everything except for the Iron Mans and the Guardians of the Galaxies over the last couple of months. So I'm ready.
Oh, then you're going to be more update than I am. And finally, from the Secret Cabal, Jamie, who's going to be probably the most controversial of everybody on this panel from what he tells me.
I think that there are some on this list that everybody seems to hate, and I love them. So I'm going to do my best to foil everything you guys do.
Now, let me say, for those who are watching, what you're seeing is every Marvel movie, but we're not doing them all. We're only going to do from Iron Man to Avengers Endgame. It's only those core Marvel MCU movies. So I know there's a lot more on the list, but we ain't got time to go through all those. So that's what we're going to be going. Because somebody just said, wow, that's a lot of movies, but we're not going to be talking about any X-Men or anything like that. And that's probably for a good reason.
Yeah. Howard the Duck, I see on that list down there. So
I've watched Howard the Duck dozens of times when I was a kid. I love that movie.
Oh, boy.
George Lucas at his best.
Oh, I forgot George Lucas made that. Okay, so let me just explain the rules of what we're going to be doing here. So here's, for those who have never seen a tier list, this isn't each of our own list. You see here, we're going to be ranking movies from great, the best of the best, all the way down to bad. But here's the thing, it's going to be a consensus. So we're going to bring up a movie, and amongst us 4, we have to decide where it's going to fit. And that's where some of the discussions are going to come in. And if it's okay with you guys, let's rate the movies against other Marvel MCU movies. So not ranking a movie against Gone with the Wind or something like that. These are ranked amongst themselves. So hopefully we'll have a good spread across all the categories.
Okay.
And one thing also is, because if you're very passionate about a movie, I'm going to throw a little twist in here. America's Got Talent just started last week, and that's one thing our family watches. And they have this thing called a golden buzzer. And I'm going to introduce a golden buzzer here. If there is a movie that you feel very passionate about one way or the other, and nobody else does, you get one golden buzzer to use on a movie where it says, I'm overriding you all. Here's what the score of that movie is going to be.
Oh, so I've got some follow-up questions. Can I golden buzzer someone else's golden buzzer?
we'll say no, you can't.
So first come, first serve.
First come, first serve. You get one, so use it wisely. So
yeah, the timing of when you play that golden buzzer card is very important.
Yes, it is.
I like how you gamified this, Marty.
Oh,
this
yes. Yes. All right, here we go. Let's just jump right into it. Let's just start out with the very first movie, which is, hold on, I got to take interaction of this guy here. Hold on just a second.
Is that how we're going to do it chronologically?
Yes, these are about as close to chronological. It's pretty chronological right now. I looked up on the Wikipedia how they came out, so I'm trying to do them from oldest release to latest. So Iron Man, and just let me start this out. I hate to start out rating something so high, but for me, I'm going to say this was great, best of the best.
I really like this movie. I think this movie is an excellent movie, and it's an absolute wonderful start to the entire series. Now, if you compare that to the newest movies that are coming out, where they're getting real slick with everything, it might not compare. But I think, thinking about it from the time, I've watched this movie many times, and I love it even to this day. And I think it's an excellent way to start off. Particularly, the end of that movie puts it best of the best. The very end of that movie puts this movie best of the best.
Okay.
I got to knock it down because the villain is lame.
Well, we're gonna do that with like 3/4 of these movies.
Sure.
I would agree with what Joel's saying in terms of knocking it down. I agree that the villain is lame. But going back to Marty's suggestion that these need to be rated amongst their peers in the MCU, I feel like this doesn't get a best of the best for that reason alone, because of what you said, Jamie, with the things getting slicker, and not just slicker in terms of a presentation standpoint, but the storytelling has actually, I think, also gotten better over the years.
Yep.
So I would put this at the good personally.
Okay. So also, I forgot to tell you too, what we're going to do is round down. So if it's 2-2, then we're going to round down. And so we'll round down to good. Is that what y'all want to rate, Joel?
You know what? I'd like to change mine to good as well.
Okay, there we go.
Here's why. Because I think that if it had Don Cheadle in it from the beginning, this one would be better. Because it started off with a different, I don't remember who the different
Terrence
roadie
Howard.
was. Yeah. And he got all crazy and wanted more money. He wanted as much money as Iron Man. And then so changing it to Don Cheadle in the next movie, who's a superior roadie, I think puts this one down.
All right.
Oh, all right.
Moving on. How did Iron Man 2 fare then amongst you fellas?
You can leave it right there where it is.
Oh, it's a little better than that, I think. It's still fun.
It is, again, that's why I said we're ranking it against the other MCU movies, and I literally don't hate any of them.
Yeah, true.
But
like, I wouldn't say bad to any of them, but if we have to rank it amongst the other ones,
you got to put it at okay solely for Hammer's like dance that he comes out on stage. That's the best part. When he comes dancing out, so he's going to show off all the things. He's like doing that thing, and he's like slipping back and forth. That's cool right there.
Now, remember, Iron Man 3's coming, so you got to leave room to go beneath it.
Well, here's the thing.
Hey,
you mean Tony Stark 3?
Joel, go ahead, because I think I'm about to agree with you.
Well, the thing is Iron Man 2 adds nothing to the MCU and to Iron Man as a whole. Iron Man 3 isn't great, but it adds to, without Iron Man 3, you don't have Infinity War and all that stuff. Because that's Tony Stark struggling, it's dealing with his visions, it's all that kind of stuff, and that really sets the trajectory for the finale, in my opinion. That's what keeps 3, I think, a little bit higher than 2, because honestly, they're both kind of fun, but 3 again has probably a worse villain than Iron Man 1, so yeah.
I wouldn't put it at bad, I'd put it at meh.
So
that's where I'd go. Or okay. I'd rather okay, but
okay. So I would say okay. Jamie says okay. Dave?
I'm not trying to play an odds game here, but I have to stick with bad on this one, because it is definitely, when I think of my list, it's among my least favorite of the MCU movies.
Yeah, I got you.
If we're trying to spread them out at all, it's among my least favorite, so it has to be at the bottom.
So Joel?
For me.
Meh. You got to put at least meh.
All right. So that, I think among the 4, we'll round down to a meh.
All right. I can handle that.
Now I'm curious what's going to be bad.
First Thor.
I guarantee you, Dave, the one that's going to be bad is going to be great.
Now remember.
Not if I beat you to the golden buzzer.
That's right.
I was going to say, the golden buzzer can be to pull something down if you want to.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's how I'm going to use mine.
All right. Thor. First Thor.
I say okay.
Okay, wait a minute. You like Thor better than Iron Man 2?
Oh, yeah. But I am a Thor like fanboy. Like, I love the comics and stuff from the 70s and all that. But to me, it's like it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I just watched it maybe about a month ago, and it's a little bit hokey and a little bit disjointed, similar to Iron Man 1, where the storytelling's not that solid. But then the villain's kind of eh. But
I agree with that. I think one of the flaws of the first Thor movie is that they break a rule. Like it sucks when a hero loses their powers.
Yeah.
And usually that happens in like part 3 or something, or in the second season of a TV show. This one, in the very first movie, he loses his powers, and for half the movie he's not Thor. And I think that's poor storytelling right there. It's not really exciting. I mean, they need more of an origin of this is the most powerful being in all of Asgard and all this different stuff. And then they make him lose his powers immediately, and he just like some chump wandering around in the desert. Still good movie though. I'd put it at okay because I like the movie, but it's a little weird start, I think.
I would vote okay. That's 2 okays.
That's 3 okays.
3 okays? I don't think you can change it, David. What would you say? Oh, is David frozen?
I think David is frozen.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
He's back now.
He's thinking.
4 okays.
Okay.
There we
go. There we go.
Yeah, we agree.
Nice. Simple.
Yeah.
First Captain America.
Oh,
best, top.
Best at the top. Put it at the top.
Oh,
the first Captain? No way am I doing
America's
that.
Best of the.
Oh,
great.
man.
I'd say okay.
No, man, no.
Wow.
That's way too low. At least good.
I'd say okay.
Oh
man. No.
This one is rough because it does such a great story of putting an origin story for a character together quickly at the beginning of the movie. Because I hate origin stories. You'll hear that a couple of times throughout this whole thing. Origin stories are boring, and we're past them at this point. And this one, it made the origin story happen in the first like 45 minutes of the movie, and then the rest of the movie is just him going through all these cool adventures. And I want a TV series with the Howling Commandos. That would be like the greatest thing, because that group of characters is awesome. And man, you get to see them do their thing throughout the whole movie, and then the end is awesome. Villain is amazing.
Yep,
I love it.
I'm still sticking at okay. I mean, I thought it was because I know I'm comparing it against others, and Winter Soldier's coming down the pike when it comes to a Captain America movie. So
yeah, that's what I feel like with MCU. There are some that deserve to be at the top of the list, and like far more like Winter Soldier, like you said, Marty. I can't see Winter Soldier and this being compared the same to me. So
let's do a compromise. We'll put it at good, but ahead of Iron Man, to the left of Iron Man.
Yeah.
Oh dang it! Grab the wrong thing.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, because you can still rank them within the rows, right?
To the left of Iron Man. Is that better than Iron Man?
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hold on, it didn't work. Hold on. There you go.
There you go.
All right, I can live with that. I don't like it. I think it's wrong. But why are we agreeing so much, Joel?
I don't know. I'm worried. I'm worried now.
Jamie, you're welcome to use your golden buzzer.
That's
Not
true.
here.
That's true. All right. The very first Avengers movie. Now, I will say, when this first came out, it was great among all the others. Going back and watching it again, I would say good or great for me.
I would agree with that. Marty, I think I'm right there with you. When this came out, I think I saw this thing like 5 times in theaters. Mm-hmm. I loved this movie so much. But in retrospect, it doesn't really hold a candle to, you know what? It's still not bad though. I watched this not long ago, and it's still very, very entertaining. I would put this definitely at good. But I'm leaving room just for the few that I think are great.
Joel, Jamie?
Joel?
Yeah, I just watched it, and honestly, the first half is a little bit weak sauce. The second half is amazing. So I think for that, I'd put it up at good. Yeah, I think good, like towards the right side. But yeah, I'm like with you guys. When it first came out, it was like, I can't believe they pulled it off, all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a little bit kind of clunky and slow in the first half, and then once they kind of get together, they get to the shield carrier or whatever, and they capture Loki. Everything from the moment they capture Loki is just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with having it in the good category for all the reasons Joel said, actually. I also think that time has not played well with this movie, right? There's a shine that is kind of worn off of it because they've done the hordes of monsters over and over and over again since then. And this one now kind of suffers because it has the hordes of monsters at the end. So the battle for New York was not as cool as it was when we first saw it. That's why I wouldn't put it at great, put it at good.
All right, so we're sitting at good then.
We're sitting at good. I feel like it should be to the left side of good, but because left's better, right?
Yeah, I would agree too.
I like Cap better than I like Avengers.
Really?
I like Avengers better than I like Cap. But we'll round down.
This is outrageous.
All right. Round it down. Round it down.
Yeah. All right. Iron Man 3.
Meh to the left of Iron Man 2.
Man, well, I'm saying...
If you guys want to stick it in bad, I won't argue it.
Here's the thing. When you tease the Mandarin and you end up with what you get at the end, I can't excuse that. I just can't.
That was terrible. They ruined the Mandarin completely.
That didn't bother me really at all, but... I'm not a hardcore fan, so I wasn't like I wasn't all juiced up to see the Mandarin. I would put it in but I would put it left of Iron Man 2 because I think it's better than Iron Man 2.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same as David.
So there's two mehs, Jamie.
I'm going to put it at bad just because, I mean, there's some good stuff in it, but it's all Tony Stark and barely any Iron Man. Like at the end, it's like suits flying around shooting again. The Mandarin was lame. I didn't like the character that the real villain, who was like, I don't know, he turns into fire and stuff. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a great one. And I would put it at bad. You guys can put it up at meh as the rounding.
Well, here's the thing. I'm saying bad and we round down. So it's bad. Our first bad movie.
Bad. I'm with you, Marty.
I feel like this list by the end is going to get more personal than it is really a real reflection of our feelings on the movies. Like now I feel like I need to get back at Jamie.
Hey, Dave, do you want to use your golden buzzer on Iron Man 3?
No,
don't waste it on Iron Man 3, man.
That's okay.
All right.
I have in mind where I'm probably going to use it.
Is it going to be Thor Dark World?
I call dibs.
It's definitely not.
I call dibs on the gold buzzer.
I think you missed one.
Are you using it, Jamie?
Maybe. We'll see what you guys say, and then I'll decide if I'm going to actually reserve it or not. Because I'm not going to say this is great, but I'm going to say that everybody in the world hates this movie, and I love this movie. I think that the villain kind of stinks, but a lot of them stink. This movie was cool. It was a cool movie. It had a lot of neat stuff in it. It gets a bad rap. And I got more to say about it, but you guys go ahead and talk.
I love it. I love this movie. I'd put it up at good, easy.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
you got to use golden buzzer because I'm going meh at best.
Hey, if Jamie and I are good and you guys are mad, then I'll end up in okay and I'll be happy. I can sleep with that.
I have to put Thor: The Dark World at bad.
Oh
no, man. That's just vindictive and vicious.
No. Thor: The Dark World, just like Iron Man 2, it is easily in my bottom 3 to 5 Marvel MCU movies.
Why?
It's just really boring, and so here's one of the things for me in all the MCU. When they do humor right, it's done really, really well. And in Thor: The Dark World, the humor in it was super corny and hokey and like really bad jokes landing very awkwardly, in my opinion. Not that I'm judging it all on the jokes, but it has some of the worst in that respect. And it was just kind of, other than that, I would say meh, but it's definitely in the bottom of the barrel for me.
I think you guys got to watch it again. I just watched this a couple of weeks ago and it still holds up. It's great. It's a Thor story. Like Jamie was saying with the first one, Thor loses his powers. He's, doesn't really get to do anything. This is such a Thor story. It's got the dark elves and this like dark magic, dark dimension type of thing and all this stuff. And the conflict with Odin and him and Loki's kind of thrown in there just a little bit. And this kind of weird extra dimensional magic and Infinity Stone stuff is in there. It's great.
Is true. It does set up some of the Infinity Saga more than most films.
Mm-hmm.
What's great about this movie is that, now I love Thor Ragnarok and him and everything else past that. I love all that stuff. But this was the last one before Thor became the comic character, the comedic character. He became almost a buffoon after this. And he was taken seriously in this movie and in the first movie. The first movie has some humor, but when he was Thor, he wasn't a goofball. And in this one, he wasn't a goofball either. And also, Dark World builds the Asgard story. You know, most of these movies, like now that we're getting to the point where everything's all intertwined and stuff, we don't have those story about the places that are very important, and Asgard and the people, you know, the giants and the dark elves and how those sort of factions interact. This movie had that. So it's great world building for a part of the MCU that people would have a hard time understanding. And since now space and other dimensions is totally normal, this was the movie that kind of set all that stuff up. I really, really enjoy this movie a lot. I think it's an excellent movie. Not as great as the others, as some of the others, but I respect this one.
All right. Well, what it stands right now, a good, a meh, and a bad ends up being a meh.
That seems like bad math to me.
Yeah.
No, because a good meh ends up okay. But if you throw one bad in there, it rounds it down to meh. You going to use your golden buzzer?
I kind of want to, because I'm looking at all the other movies and I don't think there's any other ones that I'm going to be crazy about.
I'll tell you what, Jamie, I'll make a deal with you. I'm going to use golden buzzer to put it up there.
Good. Do it.
Yeah, because I know we both want to do it.
Where are you putting it?
Good. I'm not going to put it at great.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I have to respect that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he could put it at best if he wanted to, and then we'd ridicule him the rest of his life. You got to move it
one to the. I know everybody's gonna hate me, but put it one to the left of Iron Man.
Whoa!
No, that's fine.
It's your golden buzzer.
If you use your golden buzzer, you get the exact placement.
It's your golden buzzer, dude. Yep, I agree. All right, so that we had a lot of discussion on that. Yeah. Can I assume we're taking Winter Soldier to great?
Yes.
Yeah. Put it right up there.
Absolutely.
One of the best.
Boom.
One of the best.
It might be the best.
Yep.
It might be.
Maybe.
And you know what was so good about that one is the story was, to me, one of the best of any of the Marvel movies with I mean, it was like almost like realistic. It's like, holy cow, this could happen sort of deal. You know, it was so good.
Yeah, it was good. That was the Russo's first movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah,
It's great because there's a lot of different kinds of MCU films. There's the like the fantasy ones. There's the the crazy space ones, science fiction ones. There's all kinds of stuff. This one is like the spy action movie.
Yeah.
Right. And that's so cool that we get that in it too. And I love that, the new TV show, the Falcon and Winter Soldier, is kind of following that path, right? The spy action series. And I like that. So this one, best of the best.
I agree. All right. Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Dang it. I keep grabbing the wrong thing. I'm sorry, y'all.
For me, absolutely best of the best.
I would say best of the best.
Without question.
Wow.
I'm sure we all agree with this, but the fact that they took this property, which I can tell you before this movie came out, I knew nothing about the Guardians of the Galaxy. And I remember as kind of like I enjoyed the movies, but also kind of looking at what Marvel was doing and whether they were going to be successful. When they first announced this, I thought, okay, here's their first opportunity where they really have to do it well, because I don't know how they're going to make a raccoon and a talking tree work. And they blew it out of the water. I love this movie.
I mean, and this is one of those I saw in the theater multiple times, and then when it came out on DVD or for streaming, I watched it again. Amazing. So that was two back-to-back big movies. All right, Avengers.
Here comes another one. Here comes a good one.
Age of Ultron. Well, Jamie, since you're excited, tell us about it.
I love this movie. I like this movie better than the first Avengers movie.
Ooh.
I think it should be under. I can't decide between good and great, because this is another one that so many people dislike this movie, and I do not understand why. First off, James Spader is amazing as Ultron. He's like the greatest actor, and he tears it up with this movie. The whole concept of him and dealing with what he's dealing, and this movie is only enhanced in quality since like the Infinity stuff, because Ultron was all about that suit of armor for planet Earth, right? And that's Thanos that the suit of armor was needed for. If you look at, I've watched, Dave, you were talking on, I was just listening to one of Joel's old podcasts. You were talking about how Oh crap! Now I lost my train of thought. You were talking about how like oh crap! I completely thought lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. I'm so excited about this movie. But anyway, the point of what I'm trying to say is that I know what it was. You watched a lot of YouTube videos that kind of pick apart pieces of movies and say like, here's all the Easter eggs and here's how everything ties together. And I've watched a number of them on Ultron. If you watch like when Ultron's learning about the history of the United States the history of the world, and going through all of those flashes and those quotes and things, it builds this amazing picture of what Ultron is trying to do and why he's trying to take over the world and put that pseudo armor and rid the planet of the humanity and stuff. It's so amazing the amount of thought they put into this film and the way it works. And then going forward into the whole Thanos concept, this movie is pivotal in the series, and I love it. I think I'm putting it at great at this point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think to me it's great, but it's like right between great and good. Like,
Marty, can I just request the next time we do this, can it just be you and me?
Am I gonna have to use a golden buzzer to pull down a movie? What is going on here?
I just rewatched this thing recently, and I liked it even better. This is probably the third or fourth time I've seen it, and I liked it even better.
Well, here's what the chat's saying: meh. Ultron is bad. Ultron movie plot is incoherent and disjointed. It's
not though. It is so not. It's an excellent plot that develops perfectly and fits into the longer story of the MCU.
Yeah. I'm not going to say what my rating is first, but I'm going to say I agree with Jamie about James Spader. Now, it's interesting because at first I didn't like it, but the more I thought about it being an Ultron that was reflecting Tony Stark and how it's kind of like his child, and he acts very arrogant like that. Because at first I was a little turned off by how human he seemed. But I came around to really loving James Spader as Ultron. And there's a lot about the movie to like. And in fact, I'll agree with Joel too, that upon further watches, I've enjoyed it more. With that said, I enjoyed The Phantom Menace more watching it the second and third time. And that's mostly because I was prepared for the bad parts.
Yeah, you can just fast forward past the Jar Jar and pod racing.
But the part, and I hate to hammer this home, but this is the movie to hammer it home on. This movie's humor is awful. Like they tried so desperately to push in jokes wherever they possibly could in this movie. And they absolutely, unfortunately, take me straight out of the action. There's one in particular, great action sequence where they're chasing the truck with, I think, Vision's in the back of the truck, and Black Widow's driving around on a motorcycle, and there's literally a point where they, after the fact, had her dub in beep beep, like as she's like telling people to get out of her way, which is just ridiculous. And
that's because kids go to see these movies.
I know, but I don't care about the kid. And plus, I don't know that that's the case. I think they're just, here's what I think happened. Guardians of the Galaxy came out. Marvel was like, we got to be funnier. And the people that they have on Age of Ultron didn't quite cut the mustard when it came to fitting in the jokes. But so with all of that said, this would be a bad for me. Like, this is also at the bottom of my list, but I'll probably go meh because of the parts of it that have grown on me over watching it a few more times. I'll say meh, but that's as good as it gets for me.
Yeah, and for me, I'm just going to go okay. And it's actually gone up since WandaVision because I appreciate it more after WandaVision because it was meh for me. But the thing that made that movie for me all along was Scarlet Witch, because I just love Scarlet Witch and she was introduced in that. So
I'm that buzzer, point. Jamie.
I'm gonna. What's your vote, Joel?
Well, mine was great. I would put it to either the right hand side of great or the left hand side of good.
Okay, so Marty, where does it fall? Do the math.
So right now, wait a minute. Y'all two are saying great.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
great,
a great, okay, and a meh.
It would be okay.
No, it dropped to a meh because okay. No, you're right. It'd be okay. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Let's say it okay.
All right. I'm gonna golden ticket this one.
Yep.
And let's put it on let's put it up at great.
Oh my gosh.
Behind.
Oh my gosh.
It'll probably be at the end of great.
Okay.
You put this together, Marty. You put this together. Don't blame me.
I don't agree with the being great, but I also again have to respect the fact that he put it at the end of great.
I'll take any respect I can get.
I never would have guessed Age of Ultron would be great out of this. I'm stunned.
You gotta watch it again. Everybody in the chat needs to watch Age of Ultron and Dark World again. That's your homework.
Now everything else you can put it wherever you want, and I'm all right.
Oh wow.
Those are the two that I was like, which one should I have my golden ticket saved for?
Oh geez. All right, Ant-Man.
I just watched this last night, actually.
I'm just throwing this. For me, it was fine. It was okay for me. It was okay.
Yeah. Me too. I really enjoy it, but in the scope of the MCU, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I love Paul Rudd.
Yep.
It's a fun movie. It's got great actors in it. It's got awesome action. It's a fun story. The villain was kind of boring, but it's a comedy, right? And in the MCU, it's fun to inject that fun every now and then, that comedy type stuff. And I don't rewatch it that often, and I dig it. But I dig it though, and I would watch it again. So I'm going to put it under okay as well.
Yep, I got okay. The humor didn't hold up quite as much. I was laughing a lot, like almost as much as Guardians of the Galaxy. That I watched again last night, and I was like, it's okay.
All right. Well, that was easy. All right. So we all agree. Not much discussion to be had. Civil War.
Right behind Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would personally vote to put this in front of Winter Soldier.
Not me.
So all y'all are saying great.
Great for sure. This is maybe my favorite.
This quibbling. So either side of Winter Soldier is totally fine with me. I'd put it behind Winter Soldier, but wherever it falls, it's great for me.
Well,
it's definitely in the great category.
I really enjoyed it, but I would have not thrown it in the great. I would just said good. It will stay in the great.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, Civil War will always remind me of popcorn, because Jamie and I got to see it together at CMON, and that's where the whole popcorn thing began. But I really enjoyed it. I try to limit the number of movies I say that are great. That's why. So, but
that one, it's utterly rewatchable.
Mm-hmm.
That's the movie I would turn on in the background while folding the laundry all day long.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with y'all at all on this one. So you say to the right of Winter Soldier.
That's what I would say.
That works.
That's what I'd put. But...
Yeah, just keep pushing Age of Ultron down. Perfect. Okay.
Still great, Marty.
Yeah, how many can we get? Is there a rule where we have so many in great that it automatically will bump them down?
It rolls down the good.
Because if that's the case, all the rest of the movies are great for me.
All right. Doctor Strange.
I just watched this last night too, because I wanted to watch before we got on here, and I was going to say great before I watched it again. Now I'm just saying good.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're saying, well, then we'll just start it up here and we'll go from there. So here we go.
Doctor Strange is my favorite MCU or favorite Marvel character of all time. Top 3 favorite characters of all time. Doctor Strange. I was waiting for this movie forever. I wanted this movie out. This is the one that I wanted out of all of them. And when I saw it, it did not disappoint. It is a fantastic movie. The only reason that I would kind of put it down into good, which I'm going to put it in good, is because it's the origin story, and they spent too much time on the origin story. So it was like I don't rewatch it as much because I don't want to see him become, the Sorcerer Supreme again. I want to see him get into the action, and the villain is a little bit kind of boring. But as a whole, the movie is amazing. So I'm putting it in good for those 2 reasons.
Well, I was going to see. To me, this is, for very different reasons, it's also in the okay. It's a great movie, don't get me wrong. I love all these movies for the most part, except for the ones I really don't like that much. And that's just a short list. But this, along with Ant-Man, even though they're very different movies, feel very similar to me in terms of where I rate them. So I would have put okay, but I'm okay with good.
Gosh. So here's the thing. I would have differed because I probably would have pushed it a little more towards great. Because I love Doctor Strange, and I I love seeing, okay, finally we got magic and stuff. Again, I'm a huge Scarlet Witch fan, so I'm more towards the mystic side stuff anyway. So that's where we got a lot of this. And Benedict Cumberbatch is just, well, I think it's just amazing in that role. I'm thinking if I want to use Golden Buzzer or not. You could put it up there with the great.
Just to pop it up one? Oh my goodness.
But I'm looking at the rest of the movies to see how passionate I am about anything else.
I think you should use it if for no other reason that it leaves me with the only golden buzzer left.
Well, you can't override anybody else's golden. But the only one I would use it on is probably to pull one down, and that's just mean.
Yeah, that's mean spirited.
That's mean spirited. So that's not in the jest of the.
It is mean spirited, but it's also how we ended up with Age of Ultron in great.
All right. Okay. I'm going to leave you at the last golden buzzer, Dave. I'm going to push up Doctor Strange, and I'm going to throw it ahead of Age of Ultron.
I can deal with that.
It's your prerogative.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I know I probably wasted it, moved just up one spot, but
I'm happy.
All right.
Doctor Strange deserves it.
Here we go. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It was not great for me.
Yeah, I got this one at okay.
Yep, me too.
The humor's great. I really like the humor. Humor was solid, not as good as the first one, and the origin story of Quill was kind of interesting, But I don't know. It was something. It just kind of takes its foot off the gas at the end, and I don't know. I
thought it was a little too complicated. I think that it had too much stuff going on. There were too many things going around, like the different places and stuff. So I love the humor, like you said. I love Ego. I think Kurt Russell's awesome, and he was a really good villain. And this is one of my favorite villains of the entire MCU. Mm-hmm. So I really love that part of it. And you get some really great scenes, like a Mary Poppins scene. Like that is just cool. Mary Poppins, y'all. But so I would put this one at good.
How many do we have left?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Yep.
I'm gonna golden buzzer this to the top.
Whoa! Are you serious?
I love this movie, and I think a lot of people, when this movie came out, there's a lot of people that immediately said, it's not as good as the first. And I very, very much disagree. I love the first one. And I think if you take the sort of phenomenon aspect away from the first one and the nostalgia with it being sort of the movie that did what it did first, I think this is a better story than the first one. I think Ego is by far a better villain than in the first one. And I'll admit this here. I'm sure I've admitted this elsewhere in public. And Alicia's probably saying it in the comments right now. I cry like a baby at the end of this movie every single time. Without fail, this thing chokes me up. And I love it.
You mean at the part where they do the service at the very end, all the ships show up?
Don't even talk.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Crying,
I'm sorry. All right, well, Dave,
that sounds golden buzzer worthy.
That is golden buzzer worthy, buddy. So where are you putting it up there?
And this is out of respect for all of you. It's out of respect for some of you. I'll put it between Doctor Strange and that other one.
Okay.
There you go. All right, so before we move on, gentlemen, we are super top heavy at this point. We're supposed to be comparing these against other movies, and so there's no separation among those top 5 and the others. Yeah,
so at the end, do you spread them all out so that they're even, so that some go into the bad?
What was that again?
Yeah, there's some coming up here that I think are going to fall lower for me. So
some
of them get worse.
At the end, yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. The Spider-Man movie Homecoming.
Great.
We're top heavy, and he's throwing in great.
Great. I'd put it right behind Civil War.
I put this one at good.
I would put it at good.
I'd put it at good.
Oh my. All right, fine.
I really like it. I think Tom Holland is amazing as Spider-Man. I think it's great.
Just left to Captain America then.
What? No.
I think that also
Wait, what's the other
Michael
one
Keaton
up there?
is awesome. Like he's such a cool villain, and it's one of those villains that I like that he's not like a super villain, like this crazy like Thanos type. He's like a smaller character. And you kind of understand why he's doing what he's doing, because after the battle in New York, like he needs to, make his money, right? And the government comes in, or Shield comes in and stops him. It's got a really good heart to it. But I put it in good solely because it's not as good as those other ones.
Yeah, same here. Now, Joel, were you the one that put Thor: The Dark World up there?
Yeah, I gotta say, you put this to the left of Thor.
Yeah, you should get that call at the very least.
I mean, at least there, I'd put it above Avengers at least.
What?
Come on now.
Above Avengers? I can't do that.
Easy call.
I can't do that.
Where
would you put it?
I'd side with you on that one, Marty. Sorry, Joel.
Yeah, we're rounding down.
We're good.
So in the chats, a couple people have said, why didn't you include the Hulk with?
We should include the Hulk.
Actually.
Oh,
yeah, Incredible Hulk counts.
All right, let's throw in the Hulk real quick, because that was an older one, but we skipped it. So I see it right here. So let's just throw it somewhere.
It came out after Iron Man.
It did.
Just like
you could leave it
after.
right there. Yeah, let's leave it right there.
No.
Oh, it's terrible. I just watched it like 2 months ago. It's terrible. It's awful. Yeah, I thought it was good, because the original two Hulks with Eric Bana, they are terrible. They wouldn't even make the list.
Yeah, the Eric Bana one is horrific.
Yeah,
it's just awful.
But when I saw this one, I was like, okay, this is actually a good one. And then I watched it again, and I was like, no. It's not.
Normally, I would put this one in the okay category, but I'm going to put it in the meh category solely because of the actor change. Because now I don't want to watch it because it's not Mark Ruffalo, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel as good. But still, there's a lot of cool stuff in it. So I'll put it in meh just because I haven't watched it in forever and not really interested to go back to it.
Yeah, I would put it in okay for me. I actually thought this was, and I remember seeing it when the same summer that I saw Iron Man and thinking, these are two great Marvel movies. It probably hasn't aged as well. Yeah. And as I'm remembering, some of like the Abomination is a little.
Oh, it's terrible.
Pretty awful. Pretty bad.
That guy has no motivation.
This is also the one that kind of like seeded that guy with the giant brain head, right? A little bit.
Oh yeah, and they never what do they call him? Not Brainiac.
But that guy. It seemed a little cheesy for MCU, so I would put it at okay though, personally.
So I would put it at meh. So I think that's one okay, two mehs, one bad, which I think puts it at meh.
Yeah, that's fine.
Definitely below Iron Man 2 as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, comments, for helping us round out the lower end of our list.
Yeah, the leader. That's who the brain guy is.
He's
leader.
Yeah.
He's a really cool Hulk villain, but they never followed up on him.
Okay, so Thor Ragnarok and
great.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say. Oh, I thought somebody's going to argue with me because I was going to say great.
No, I just don't know where it is up there. Probably to the left of Guardians.
Well, there's no point in me saying anything.
Do you not like it?
No, I do love it. I love it. It's a great movie. I would put it in good.
Okay.
At the bottom of good, I think, because here's exactly why. Okay, so it's fantastic. It is so fun. It is funny. The characters are cool. It's got Jeff Goldblum, which any movie with Jeff Goldblum needs to go to great, right? But here's the thing that I'm really bothered by every time I think about it is how they squandered the opportunity of World War Hulk. World War Hulk is it would be the most amazing MCU movie, and it would be great above Captain America if they made the World War Hulk movie. And this is the start of that. And they kind of squandered it. They didn't actually do it. They didn't have the Illuminati in the beginning with Tony Stark. Of course, they couldn't have had Xavier and Namor and those characters, but they didn't have that concept. And then they got there, and he's just there. And then he comes home, and you don't get the World War Hulk. That always spoils it for me. So it takes it from a great to a good. And I like Thor not being a goofball, and this is where he started becoming a goofball.
Yeah, I got to agree with Jamie on those points. I mean, it doesn't take the movie down for me, but I mean, I agree with you on those points. But for me, it doesn't really hurt the movie.
Yeah. So where would y'all rank it up here in the list?
Well, if Jamie was putting it in good, it almost feels like it has to err on the side of the down. The end, right?
Okay.
But put it next to Ultron because I said I made that promise.
Wait a
You
minute.
move it up one, Marty.
Oh, nice. Oh, so Ultron is at the end. Okay, no
I
matter
made the
what.
promise with my golden ticket that Ultron would be at the bottom of Groot.
Wow.
No matter what.
All right.
All right.
Here
Unless
we are.
you guys decide
No, that's
Ultron
fine.
is better than something.
Nope. Nope.
And we still have an
You
upside.
can move the Incredible Hulk up there as far as I'm concerned.
And
Oh,
we still have an upside down pyramid. So here we go. Black Panther.
Somewhere between good and great for me. I have a hard time with this one.
I would agree. I think it's good.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I wasn't a fan of when it's a little effects heavy for a Marvel movie. One of the things I loved about the MCU is how realistic things were and how effects aren't typically used, like in the DC universe where effects are used like in slow motion and like, all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of that. And this feels like it, I don't know, some of the fighting felt a little bit more like that to me, which took it down a little bit. But I love the story. And I love the fact that it established Wakanda as such a epic and important part of the MCU. Like it's, the fact that, what was it? Was it Infinity War, where so much of it took place in Wakanda was awesome.
Right.
So,
but the thing for me
is
the villain is probably the best villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
That's true.
That puts it into great, but the arc of T'Challa, where he has that whole thing again, where like he kind of goes and then he loses his power and he gets back, and then there's redemption. Like it's so telegraphed, like a fastball down the middle. Yeah. That's the only thing that kind of bugs me about that. But the tie-in with like the stuff that happens in the '90s and everything, and I like how they really went into the other. I can't remember the name of them, but all of the like Imperial Guard around T'Challa and his sister and. Michonne from Not Walking Dead. I can't remember her name, Oconee or something like that. Like that stuff's really cool. But to me, it's like on the lower end of great, very top end of good in there.
So let me see. So you pick one though, great or good, Joel, if you don't mind.
Because the villain pumps it to great.
Okay. And Jamie, what'd you say?
I didn't say anything yet.
I'm sorry.
I'm putting this in good.
Okay.
I really love it. It's a great movie, great acting. Like Joel said, the best villain, one of the best villains there is. This is the one that I started to notice the technology in Marvel films going so crazy. Like just to the point where I can't believe the technology. And so the technology of Wakanda makes no sense to me. And it started to bother me, honestly, watching the movie. There's one point where somebody got shot and they jammed a metal ball in and said, that'll fix it. And then nobody explains the hell that was.
That technology exists though.
And it was just like that kind of stuff was like, it's just lazy writing in my mind. When you start doing that kind of stuff, it's lazy. This is the dingus that's going to fix it.
I felt like they did that. I felt they leaned into that to just sort of like in an abstract way, really underscore the fact that Wakanda's tech was so far superior to everyone else's.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see that. I can see that as a way to point it out. So, I'm quibbling over great and good here. I'm just putting it at good. It's probably going to be in great anyway.
So I'm going to say good. I really enjoyed the movie. The tech kind of got to me after a while, and Joel hit it on a good point. It was very telegraphed what was going to happen with T'Challa. You knew what was going to happen with him. But I love the James Bond feel of this. I love it. It's kind of like with Winter Soldier, where it didn't feel necessarily like a superhero movie. There's a little bit of spy and espionage, so I dug that. So I really
that casino scene was awesome.
Yes, yeah. So
I forgot about that part, actually.
I really enjoyed it, but for me, I'm going to throw it at good, and I think that's two greats, two goods. It's just where do we want it in good?
I think.
I had the golden ticket of Thor. You can put it to the left of Thor: Dark World for sure.
Yeah, I would put it below Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think right there is probably
that's where I like it.
All right.
Let's see. Avengers: Infinity War.
Ooh, the top got to be great.
It's great. It's great. I think we just have to decide where it goes. And personally,
well, you got to put the left to Ultron. I mean, Jamie, I don't know what you think. Yeah.
Definitely.
It's going to keep moving, though, I assume.
Yeah, left to Thor Ragnarok.
I'd put it behind Civil War, honestly. Civil War right there.
Like
That's
that?
where I'd put it.
Yep.
That feels good to me.
That's fair. Hey, we all agree on one. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Not much
think
needed
that's
to talk
perfect.
about. I guess it's going to be interesting to see how it compares to. I'll wait till we get to the other Avengers movie. Ant-Man and Wasp. Fine. I thought it was okay for me. It was okay to good.
I put it right behind Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't like this one. I'm gonna put it in meh.
okay.
I found the villains boring. I found it just didn't work for me. But so stick it in okay. I'm okay with that. It just didn't stand out. It was not as good as the real Ant-Man. The first Ant-Man.
Right.
Yeah, it was just okay.
I think it's definitely better than Iron Man 2 and the Hulk, though.
Yeah.
No. I don't put it down there. Yeah,
Like
I got to give it okay. I mean, okay with that.
What'd you say,
Maybe
David?
talk me into it.
That where you have it right now feels right to me.
All right.
It drives me crazy that the first Iron Man is sitting there right in the middle of okay. That's still bothering me.
It is a little
right.
weird. I'm not sure in the future, Marty, if you should do this golden buzzer thing, because now I can't help but like when we're putting something in good like Black Panther and I look up that Age of Ultron is above it in great, it makes my brain start to melt.
That's fair. Hey, this is why you play test this stuff, right? So, we'll know for next time.
Right.
All right.
Now, before we get to the next one, I want to say I enjoy every single movie on this list, even Iron Man 3.
Me too.
Okay. Just to restate that fact.
Okay. So what do you want to say about Captain Marvel
I wonder
then?
what's happening now.
I really liked this movie when it came out, but it really dropped down for me. I watched it again, like I said, a couple weeks ago, and it's somewhere between meh and okay.
I'm just going to...
Maybe okay. There's a lot of things I really like about it, but there's like a woodenness to it.
It feels like a lot of they leaned into like the 90s nostalgia for humor. They leaned into like the cat for humor, and that just wasn't that great.
Well, I love the cat, but yeah.
But it's still they leaned into a lot of weird things to get humor out of this movie. And there was a lot of like I don't know, like douche chill scenes. Like when they start playing No Doubt at that one point near the end, I'm like, oh no. This is such a cool scene, and now you're doing that. It just felt wrong.
I gotta have it to the left of these two though. It's definitely better than Iron Man 2.
So hold on, but okay. So you're saying you're leaving it at meh, Joel?
I'm trying to look at Ant-Man and Wasp, and they're like it'd be a coin flip between the two.
And Jamie, what are you saying?
I would put it in the okay category.
Okay. David?
Better than Wasp.
I would put this in the okay category too, but it would probably be towards the bottom of the okay category.
Oh boy. So you're all leaving it to me because I fell into the meh. And here's why. To me, this felt like a setup movie for the next movie and then did nothing with it because you introduced Carol Danvers and then she's hardly even in the next movie.
Go ahead. Well, Marty, I hate to cut you off, but this is the thing with me, and I had the same feeling when I was watching Doctor Strange again. I feel like this one will pay itself off more when like Miss Marvel or whatever, Marvel Girl, whatever they end up calling that movie, comes out to kind of go full circle. Because like you said, it sets her up and she's a super powerful like Superman character. And then she comes in and she kind of saves the day at a certain point in Endgame, but not really. And then it kind of sets up that larger cosmological stuff, like the Eternal stuff that we're going to see, the Guardians of the Galaxy. She's really kind of triggering that. So she's like the first Iron Man movie in a way, where it's opening up this whole new avenue of the Marvel Universe. And I like that part of it, but it hasn't marinated long enough. So yeah. And it's really wooden. So I would put it to the left of Ant-Man and Wasp, which I think David and Jamie both said they would do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right there.
Yeah. So one more to the left.
Oh, I'm sorry. I drug it to you.
Yeah, because I do like it a little bit more than Ant-Man and Wasp.
Okay.
But definitely not as much as Ant-Man or...
Yeah.
Still not right.
I still don't see how Iron Man.
Oh no, that's where I would put it. Is there? I like Ant-Man better.
Ant-Man and Wasp better?
Yeah. No, that's boy. I don't know.
I'd put it to the other side. That's
Yeah,
where I
I
would.
Well, I was going mass, so mine's going to go to the right.
Okay. You can live there. See, I
Yeah,
really
that's
like the
fair.
scrolls and stuff. That whole
Yeah.
like sign.
It does
line
some
is
cool stuff. The movie
Yeah.
just all the pieces. There's a lot of good pieces, but all the pieces don't necessarily come together and make me feel great about the movie.
And it ruined Nick Fury's eye patch.
I couldn't believe the
I
story
love
for
that.
that.
So stupid.
love
That
a
is the
cat scratch?
stupidest thing.
Yeah.
I didn't
So
mind that. I didn't mind
Not a
that.
cat. It's a friggin' Fleabird or whatever the thing's called.
And Samuel L. Jackson was so irritated that that's what where they went with that. I remember him seeing that or saying that in an interview. That man, he was just like, of all things, come on, that's just stupid, and I didn't like it.
Yep.
So that takes it down.
All right, here we go. The final to wrap up the entire phase 4 of the Marvel MCU. Avengers.
Oh no, we still got Far From Home though, right?
We can do Far From Home if you want.
Yeah, well, I think we got to do Far From Home.
Okay.
I do want to do Far From Home, as a matter of fact,
All right.
because
So Avengers
I got another
Endgame.
golden ticket.
I'm going to kind of write it. I'm assuming it's going to be up in here somewhere.
Endgame's great for me. I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely in the top tier for me.
Yeah, it's at the bottom of the top. It's definitely not as good as Infinity War.
I would agree with that. It's a pacing, as a movie, as a film, the pacing is not super great, but
yeah,
it's so much part of the Infinity, like the 2-part Infinity movie, that it's hard to not put up there. And there's some great stuff, man. I mean, if for no other reason, that final fight is just like it's hard to deny that.
There's
yeah,
so much great about this movie. I would put it between Endgame and Civil War for me, because man, the end, like there wasn't a dry eye in the house at the end of that movie.
yeah, that's true.
And there was, and when they're going back in time, when they go to the army base, and you know, Cap is seeing Peggy Carter there, and Iron Man or Tony Stark's talking to his dad. Like that scene is got power behind it, right?
It is
the
good.
end with Captain America as an old man handing his shield over to Sam, like straight up. All of that stuff makes that superior to the first Iron Man. It is, I'm sorry, it's first Avengers Endgame. It's so good. It just,
you know what, Jamie
Just put it at the
me.
top. All
Jamie
the way to the
just
top.
sold me.
Yeah,
All the way to the left?
yeah, all the way to the left.
Better than Winter
I'm okay with
Soldier.
that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Jamie just sold me too. Like it's, and then maybe we're just paying it the respect because it was the finale of all of this, but it deserves it, I think.
yeah. Well, that's the thing is, you think about in the history of movies, or whatever, nobody has pulled off what we're looking at here at all, and nobody ever will again. I think.
Yeah, not even them. Like it's gonna be next to impossible for them to actually catch lightning again like this.
I agree. I will say that it did have. There's those moments in the theater that you remember. Like, I know I'm that old. As a kid, watching the first Star Wars and the Star Destroyer fly over and being blown away. This movie
Marty, were you scared when the train came at the screen when you went to see that?
So anyway, I get it. I get it. So this movie has one of those scenes when I was in the theater. I saw it opening night. And when Captain America calls Thor's hammer to him, the entire theater almost stood to its feet and cheered. It was insane what that one scene did. And you've seen people who it's on YouTube. People will show clips of that. Well, in the latest trailer for the upcoming series, they show that clip, and that's exactly where our theater was. So,
can you imagine any movie like this, a superhero movie, like make a people cry at the end because of something? We've lived with these characters through 20 movies, 22 movies, or whatever it ended up being. And like the way that it all came together, and just even the cheesy stuff, like in the end battle where they they go around to all the different groups like fighting and stuff, and they do like some really kind of corny things, like where all the female characters jump in and stuff. I'm like, oh my god, that is so cool what they just did, even though it's kind of cheesy in a way too. It just all worked together so well to just give you goosebumps. Every 5 minutes, you're getting goosebumps again about something that was happening. It's the perfect culmination to all of these movies.
Yeah, it really was.
And don't forget, like when Thor sees his mom.
Oh yeah,
I forgot about. I just remember that, because I was like, man, that was such like a just ripped you. You know what I mean? It was crazy because at that moment she knows she's about to die, but you didn't know that back in Dark World.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't realize that she knew she was going to die, and then in Endgame she's like, "Oh, but I'm a witch. Of course I know that."
Mm-hmm.
And all of these like callbacks and stuff. Like I said, I went through and watched all of these, and like if I had my own little sandbox, I would just have every Captain America movie at the top because there's so many like just little moments of like, holy crap, did they just retroactively make that work, or was somebody like thinking, when they did first Avenger, like that far out? I don't know, but it's just nuts.
Yeah, well, like a perfect example of what you're saying, Joel, I think in Endgame where Sam shows up and says on your left, like
yeah, exactly.
Like whenever that was determined, that maybe the most brilliant way to make that scene unfold, given just a tiny little joke towards the beginning. In fact, I think that's the opening sequence of Winter Soldier. Yeah, that it's something else. Hey, so are we doing one more movie, Marty?
Yes.
Yeah, I pulled the wrong. I'm sorry, y'all. They said I pulled the wrong Avengers movie, but these things are so flippin' small.
All the way at the front.
Keep your mouse away from Ultron. Actually, what's Ragnarok doing after Ultron?
That's all messed up.
It is all messed up. So hold on. Which one is this? Which is one on the end? Where's Age of Ultron? Age of Ultron's right here, right?
Do you even tier list, bro?
No, it's top. Endgame's top.
Endgame. Okay, got it. All right. All right. So finally, you said you guys want to do Far From Home. Let's just drag that up here. What do y'all think about Far From Home?
I think it's good. I just watched that again. Like I said, it's good. The villain is kind of neat, but kind of stupid.
Yeah.
So I liked it in a way, and I liked his whole like crazy, illusion juice stuff. Because when you first watch that movie, if you know Mysterio, are like, what's happening? Who is this guy? He's from another dimension or whatever. And then you go, oh, okay, he's playing a big trick on everybody.
Yeah, I did that. I actually liked how they used tech and sort of Stark related tech to explain the character in this universe. I would put it in good too. I think I mean, it's up to Joel as it relates to Thor, but I'd probably put it towards the end of good.
I'd put it just to the left of Thor. Honestly, actually, that's perfect for me because I really think these two are pretty close. Like, there's a funkiness to both of them that I like. Because I think a lot of times, I don't know, like I kind of get wrapped up in like, well, this is kind of hokey. But then I think if I read this on the page in a comic book, I'd love it.
Well, and speaking of that, the sequence with Mysterio where he's in like really messing with him.
That's amazing.
That is straight out of comic books, man.
Yes.
It was so awesome. Yeah, that was good stuff. I mean, for comic book fans.
I'm going to put this one for me in okay at the far left.
Okay.
So almost good.
Yeah.
And that's only because the first half of the movie is boring to me. It's like a teen dating comedy for a really long time. And then the action starts because Mysterio's a rad bad guy, and he was like a goofball in the comics too, right? He was just like a special effects guy who made everybody think that he was a magician, a wizard, and so that's okay. And I think most people who knows the comics kind of knew that was coming, right?
Sure.
So I think that's okay with this bad guy. And again, Spider-Man is not supposed to be fighting the Thanos level stuff. He's always the little guys that are just kind of tricking you or like just beating you up, And I like that about it. But it wasn't as good as the first one, I don't think.
No.
So I'd rather have it in okay than good.
Mm-hmm. They did kind of fast forward the relationship with him and Mary Jane. And that's because at the end of one, there's just a small hint of some feelings between each other. And then they really go fast forward into it at the beginning of two. And I understand why they had to do that because they couldn't really like develop it over a whole nother movie and all that kind of stuff. But that you're right, that first probably 20, 30 minutes of that teen stuff is a little bit sort of sped up.
It's just not for us old people. We don't need to see that.
Well, when it lands, because I think that they did a good job of it, like in the acting and stuff. And she's like, "Duh, you're Spider-Man,"
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's kind of cool," So yeah. Anyway, but if it's there or maybe to the left of Thor, I would definitely like it better than the first Thor. I don't know. It's perfect right there for me.
So all y'all said good, right? Or one of y'all say okay?
Jamie said okay.
You said okay.
2 goods and an okay.
Oh, geez. It puts it on me. I like it better than Thor, but I don't know if it's the end of good or first of okay.
It don't matter. It's a coin flip. Why don't you put it at the left of okay to make it look more balanced?
Yeah, let me just balance this out a little bit.
Yeah, that is the same thing. If we go from best to worst, where either there or up there, it's the same thing.
That's true. So we're done with the list. Looking at this list, what movie jumps out you as a surprise of where it ended up? I know mine.
Besides the golden tickets, I don't know.
Yeah, the golden tickets kind of mess things up. I agree. We'll wreck.
It does.
To me,
nothing looks weird to me.
Iron Man still looks weird to me.
Other than mine and Joel's golden tickets, taking into account your golden tickets, you and Dave, it looks good to me. I mean, it looks what I would want it to be. I mean, this whole list looks like what my list would actually be, honestly.
Yeah, I'm about there.
Yeah, I still would have put Iron Man on my personal list. Iron Man would have been higher, but again, that was the catalyst to everything that we've been talking about for the past hour, and I've still got to give kudos to that.
You do. No, you got a good
Iron
point.
Man, I think, should be right after the Captain America in good. I think that's where I would put it, but it's okay where it is.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to change it. So, wow, I'm surprised that many ended up in great. Of course, I think most golden tickets pushed things into great, didn't it?
One of them did.
Yeah.
Or no, Dave's did too with Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah, and I did with Doctor Strange. So. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so there were 3 up there.
Yeah, I had respect.
His golden ticket.
Yeah,
he only put his in good.
So I said we would go about an hour, and we're just a little over an hour to close this thing out, just to kind of set up the next phase of the Marvel. Just personally, what Marvel movies that's coming out maybe the next year? Black Widow, Eternals, Shang-Chi. Oh my gosh, I can't think of the name. What's the Master of Karate? Whatever his name is. That's what
Shang-Chi.
So, I think it's called Master of Shang-Chi. But anyway, I just remember Master of Karate or Master of Kung Fu. That's it. Master of Kung Fu. That's what the comic book was called. Of all those, what are you looking forward to? What movie is like, I cannot wait to see this particular movie in the next year that's coming out in the Marvel Universe?
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, #1 for me. Because that's going to, like I said, Doctor Strange is my favorite character. The first one is amazing, but it's an origin story. Part 2 is going to be the one that really fires me up. So I'm dying to see that one.
Yeah, I would. That's definitely at the top of my list. I think that the #1 for me is Eternals. I said, I'm a Thor guy. I'm an Eternals guy. There's a great storyline.
What happened?
Well, no, I'll just tell you the gist of it. It basically combines because they've told the Ragnarok story in Thor a couple of times. This one has the Eternals in it, and I think it's by far the best Eternals storyline and the best Thor storyline. And it's just a whole mess of nutty, crazy, dark worldy, Guardian of the Galaxy kind of stuff. And I'm really excited to see how they sort of bake in the Eternals, into the MCU and everything. But other than that, the Spider-Man and the Doctor Strange are probably the other two. And the new Black Panther, I mean, I would say all of them, really.
David?
So I was either disconnected from y'all or something because I just got back from 2 minutes worth of not being on the stream.
Oh, good thing you didn't hear what Joel said about you. Now, we were just talking about of the upcoming Marvel movies, what's the one you're really looking forward to? Black Widow, Eternals, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange 2, etc.
Oh, Doctor Strange, hands down. After WandaVision, without question. WandaVision took those 2 characters, particularly Wanda, to a completely new height for me that I would just never thought I would care about those characters as much as I care about every other main significant character in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and Doctor Strange is going to be up there for me, and it's mainly because of WandaVision, because now I know Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange are going to go head to head for a little bit, right. I would assume at this point, and I want to see those two fight each other. But I'm also very curious about the new Spider-Man, because if they introduce the multiverse.
I love multiverse. I love multiverse anything.
And if the rumors are true and the previous Spider-Men are coming back, James Garfield and Tobey Maguire, that'll be very interesting.
And
I also want to throw out a quick, I'm excited for the new Fantastic Four movie, which is way out. But they teased it a little bit in one of their recent things. And I'm not a huge Fantastic Four fan, but as I was saying earlier, Doctor Strange is one of my favorite characters. One of the other of my 3 favorite characters is Doctor Doom. And they have not gotten Doctor Doom right yet in any one of these movies. And I can't wait to see him. And I hope he becomes actually a more present villain in the MCU. Like they use him not as just a throwaway in the first Fantastic Four, but he's going to be like a present figure throughout a lot of stuff. And I would love that. I would absolutely love that. And so, yes, the next Fantastic Four movie is another one that I'm fired up about.
Fantastic. All right, so we are going to wrap up here. We'll just start at the bottom and just kind of tell people where they can find you. And I hear somebody is running a big Kickstarter right now. Maybe they want to share a little about that, Jamie.
Oh yeah. Yes, actually, the Secret Cabal. I come from the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast, obviously, and we do, podcast content every week. We do some YouTube content, all kinds of different stuff. And right now on Kickstarter, we have our yearly fundraiser that we do that we run every year, so that we can continue making all of this content and get into the conventions and upgrading our equipment and all that different stuff. So our fundraiser's over there now. We're doing very well. And we're on our way to the ultimate goal. So check it out if you'd like to support the Secret Cabal.
Yeah, and please do. Joel.
Yep, you can take a look at me at drivethrugames.com or look up Drive Thru Review or Drive Thru Games on YouTube. And I'm always pumping out nonsense.
It's good nonsense.
Pumping out nonsense. I like that.
Speaking of nonsense, David.
Hey, come on over to Man vs. Meeple on YouTube. That's where we do our thing. All sorts of board game reviews, previews, etc., and so forth. Come check it out.
Yeah, and if you've enjoyed what you've watched, please give us a follow or a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments of some other tier lists. This is one of those things I've kind of just discovered, and they've got tons of pre-made tier lists out here, including, y'all, the top 100 games on BGG. It'd be kind of tough to go through 100 games, but be interested to sit down and rank stuff like that. So maybe we can do something more board game related at some point in time. But I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me tonight. This was a lot of fun. Again, I got to take a snapshot of this because I'm still kind of surprised where things landed. But
don't be surprised, Marty. You gave us the golden tickets.
Marty, it's your fault. It's your fault, Marty.
It is. I was not playtest that well at all. So
anyway. Also, what I will say is the golden tickets did prevent negatively voting, because if somebody would have, if Dark World would have ended at like meh or bad, I might have had some spite. and had a target on another movie's back. So
awesome. Again, thanks everybody for watching. Thank you guys for joining, and make sure to follow each and every one of these people on their podcast. Go follow them on YouTube and everything. I'll put links in the description to all their stuff.